this video is going to show about how are we going to deal with parallel and perpendicular equations. So parallel and perpendicular. So you want to go over this video a few times so that you understand how do you work with all this fun stuff. I'm going to break into two so that I can write on both sides and save some space. Okay, so parallel means if you have the graph, so remember you have to draw it straight lines. So a parallel is where you have two straight lines, and perpendicular is you have two straight lines. Oh, I said two straight lines, but what is the meaning? So parallel means they don't cross each other. It's like a railway track, but they're straight lines. Perpendicular is they do cross, but at 90 degrees. So that's perpendicular and also straight lines. So you cannot say parallel is straight lines, perpendicular is straight lines, because they're both straight lines. But what's the difference? One cross, one doesn't, but the one who crosses only at 90 degrees. So if it crosses at 30 degrees, it doesn't matter. Another key is the slope of parallel. So suppose line 1 has slope 1, line 2 has slope 2, so we're going to call it M1 and M2 for parallel. Slope number 1 is equals to slope equation number 2, which is the line 1 and line 2. So whereas for perpendicular, suppose slope line 1 is M1, slope line 2 is M2, you're going to say slope 1 times slope 2 is always going to be -1, or M1 is the negative reciprocal of M2, and remember M is forever and always slope. I can use other letters, but slope. So let's take a look at example here. So whenever we're talking about parallel and perpendicular, it always deals with two lines. One line will be given, one you have to find, or they give you points and you have to find two lines. So let's say you are given a line 5y minus 2x equals 7, and the question is find a line parallel to this. So your first key is, what do you need? You definitely need this equation to be in y equals mx plus b. I'm going to call that equation number 1 or line number 1. Number 2, I need, so this equation to be that's number 1. Number 2, I need m, which is slope number 1. So I'm going to write it m1, then only I can compare to number 2. So all you have to do is slope 1 and slope 2 has this, and later we'll figure out b. So right now we just want to find a line. Okay, or if they say what is the slope of this line, find the slope first. So first, 5y minus 2x equals 7 can be written as 5y equals 2x plus 7, and you divide 5 on both sides at each term. So this will be 2 over 5x plus 7 over 5b. Remember, this is equation line 1. It's not line 2, so b is not the same. So what's equation line 2 then? That's also going to be y equals mx plus b, right? So it's going to be y equals, the slope is the same, plus b, and remember, b is not the same. Never the same for parallel. If b is the same, it is same line. So if b is the same, it's just the same line. because it doesn't make a difference, right? Okay, so we will learn how to find b later. So let's say another thing. Example 2. This time what I want is find slope of a line that is parallel and perpendicular to this equation, 3x minus 4y equals 2. So first of all, the idea is you want to say my line number 1, which is my original equation, is 3x minus 4y equals 2. Then my line number 2 is going to be, let's call it parallel. So we're going to work with parallel. So this is for parallel first, because they want both parallel and parallel. And then we'll do perpendicular later. So the idea is, first of all, line 1, what is the slope? What do I need? I need slope. So m1 must be equals to m2. Can I find m1? Yes. So I'll rewrite my line 1, which is 3x minus 4y equals 2, as negative 4y equals minus 3x plus 2. How did I get that? Subtract 3x on both sides, and remember you keep your x in the front. Then you divide both sides by negative 4 on all the terms. So negative 4 divided by 4 is positive 1. Negative 3 divided by negative 4 is positive 3 over 4x. Minus 2 divided by 4 is a negative, so 1/2. So this is slope for the first one, which is 3 over 4. And the question says find slope. They don't care about equation. So what is, for line 2, what is my slope? Your guess is also 3.3 over 4, because m1 equals m2. But now what happens if I want the perpendicular slope? Again, L1, I have a slope, and the slope is 3 over 4 from above. L2, I want my slope. M2 will be negative the reciprocal of m1. So reciprocal of 3 over 4 is 4 over 3. You just slap a negative in the front and you are done. So this is how you work with slope, and you want to figure out if it is perpendicular or parallel. So let's do one example and see if you can do it together or try it on your own. So here, final example. I'm doing this because some of you have told me that you're struggling, so I can help you. So the question is, let me write the question. Question says find the equation, which means you need an equation of the line. So when you hear the word line, immediately you should know it's a linear equation that is going through this point, and I'm giving you the point 6 minus 9, and you want the equation to be perpendicular to y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 4, and they want it to be in slope intercept form. So slope intercept form, immediately your idea should be y equals mx plus b. So don't forget that. So what's given? You are given, you always want to look for what's given. Y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 4. What do you need? you need to find line 2 and this line 2, and so let's call the first line that's given L1. You need line 2 that is perpendicular, so I'm going to draw the symbol, which means it's perpendicular, which is 90 degrees to L1, and it is going through a point, and we're going to call that point 6, -9. So how would you work with this? So the way you would work with this, of course, you already know line 1. It's already in y equals mx plus b form. So the way you solve it is, first of all, you need slope m1 and m2. So what is m1? m1 is -3/5. What is m2? Is m1 equals m2? No. We're talking about perpendicular, so it has to be the reciprocal. So you do negative, and then the reciprocal of 3/5 is going to be, negative is still there because remember this is a negative sign and you have another negative, 5/3. So m2 is now positive 5/3. This tells me that my line 2 equation should look like this. Y equals mx plus b, and it's going through a point which is 6, -9. We did this in the first example that I lectured. So I can rewrite this as y equals 5/3x plus b. This is my new line, remember, nothing to do with line 1 anymore. And all I have to do is plug in 6, -9 into the equation. So I'm gonna get -9 equals 5/3. X is 6 plus b. So that tells me, so do your math, that you're gonna have b equals, what happens here? This is 2, -19. That's a big number. So my equation is y equals 5/3x minus 19. So if you notice, remember, you only want to solve for x, no x, m and b, and you leave your x alone after you do all the plugging in. And this is how you find a line that's perpendicular. So what if they say find a line that is parallel? So in that case, you need to find a parallel that is going through another point. Okay, so if it is parallel, all you have to do is the same step, except use m2 is going to be equals to m1. Try it. Alright, I hope this really helps for those of you who needed help with this section.